Well, I first got to know Pat and Chris Weil maybe 20 plus years ago, and we met around the formation of Preuss School UCSD. And they were the first persons who came forward from the community to support and aid and abet the students who are graduating from Preuss.
As a teacher, I realized that there were a lot of kids that needed help to go on beyond school. And that was something that resonated with me.
I think my parents came from a fairly modest background, and I think they believe that there's a value to striving and to accomplishing what you can with the resources given to you. But they realize that those resources have not been spread equally.
They're really committed to, for everybody to have equitable access to an excellent education. And of course, this access is particularly geared, in their view, towards non-traditional students, underrepresented students, students who are in need.
UCSD has been very important to our philanthropy because we started with Preuss.
Well, Preuss School is the model for how the modern research university can interact with the community. It is a model for what K-12 should look like for all students, especially students coming from disadvantaged homes. Pat and Chris get that.
So we took this wonderful girl. I mentored her from 8th grade until 12th grade. And then in the 12th grade, we wanted to give her a scholarship. We found out we couldn't just do that. And so we realized there had to be more than one person contending for the scholarship. So at Preuss, we said, give us some more kids that qualify. And so we had 19 kids that we interviewed. And when we got through, we realized that's not a good thing to do because we gave them all scholarships. That was probably one of the most fun things we ever did, I think.
Can we give 19 scholarships where we had hoped to give one? Yeah, it turned out that we could. It was extraordinary. And so from that time forward, I think we probably averaged 15 to 18 scholarships a year.
I met Pat and Chris Weil when I was a senior in high school at the Preuss School UCSD. I applied for, at the time, the MKC scholarship. They called me into my principal's conference room and asked me a series of questions to sort of gauge possibly my potential in college as a first-gen low-income student.
We have had more than just a monetary relationship or a scholarship provision relationship. And where that has happened, it's been very satisfactory because you're feeling like, we feel like we're making a substantive contribution to the well-being of the kid.
I don't think I would be where I am today as a person, as a working professional, without the Weil family. My parents are both immigrants to the United States. They grew up in Zacatecas, Mexico, in a tiny little village in central Mexico, but they did grow up understanding and pursuing this notion of the American dream. And so there is a lot of pressure to be successful, whether that's financial success, academic success, because if you are successful, then that means that your parents' struggles and everything they've gone through and their sacrifices were worth something. And so the Weil family is important because I could fulfill my parents' legacy. They are just shaping what the future looks like for me and that community in Zacatecas, Mexico. And now I take their legacy with me in all of the decisions that I make at work, in my interactions in different volunteering endeavors. They shaped what my philosophy of education is like.
My parents talk about the fact that their legacy is in a way unknowable, that they wouldn't be surprised if 40 years from now people don't know their names. And that may be true, but 40 years from now, there'll be scholars, former scholars, their families, their children, their communities that are impacted because my parents decided they could give away some of their treasure and they could amplify it with their involvement and their concern.
They're not only impacting my life and helping me make my parents proud, but now I'm also hoping that I can pay it forward through my work and my volunteering, because I also want kids to experience how beautiful an education can be.
So I think my parents will be remembered, at least within their family, within their friendships, and within the people that they've had a direct impact, and probably beyond, for their humility.
To be selected for this honor is really quite incredible. I'm very, very proud to have been selected.
Enormously grateful, but I'm reminded that occasionally you'll hear people say, I do this work and they pay me, but I'd do it even if they didn't pay me. Our feeling is, I think I can speak for both of us, is that we would do this work even if this sensational recognition weren't forthcoming. We're grateful for it, but we love the work and would do it in any event.